In material pack, you have a little baggie that says must be returned. These two tools are tools that I need back when we are finished with at the end of the year, probably, or near the end of the year. Um, First, let's talk about your linoleum gouge. That's what this is. It's called a carver, or the real name is a gouge. And I would like you to look on the inside of this gouge and notice, let's see if we can get up close. Notice what it looks like in there. There is a round metal ball, or it looks like a metal ball, and there is another piece of metal attached to it, and then there's a loose piece of metal. Can you see that? Make sure that you can identify those things. Those are important. If you have a blade, this is hard to screw off and on, a little bit of oil on the shaft will help it screw off and on. Inside, you have your different size blades, and this either screws off or pops off depending on which holder you have. Take your blades out. Remember, you're keeping these away from children or anybody who has not nobody other than you should be using this tool. To outline, and the numbers are right, notice the numbers right here on the blade. And this one is a number 3. This one is a number 2. Number 2, notice the tip. Which way am I going? This way. The tip is more of a V, and it can get smaller. And notice the depth. You're going to put this blade right between the ball and the loose piece of metal. Again, between the ball and the loose piece of metal. Make sure this is loose, and it will slide right in there. Now, if you accidentally, when you take this apart and you accidentally take the whole thing, comes apart, you have to have these pieces. And let me show you how you put them back together in case that happens. Notice the shape, okay? This shape, and I'll take some pictures of this and put it in the slideshow for you. The shape has to match up. So it matches up like that. If it doesn't match up, do not put it together. It's got to match up, and you have to have all parts. Once it matches up, you can pop it back in and put it back together. But it does have to be loose so that you can put this and hold it by the side, not by the tip, the side, and when you loosen it, you wiggle it back and forth on the side, not the tip. If you are trying to take it out and it won't come out, put it in and tighten it. If you're not very good at doing that, you'll get better at it, okay? Because that's really important, because you're going to be changing blades as you go along. Notice before I start carving, what I did was I'm making my marks here on my tracing paper as to how I'm going to carve this out. If you have a thin line, make it a fat line, because you never ever want to carve away anything that's black. And we're going to be doing our designs, black and white design. And you looked at all the samples that I had for you to see. And I'm going to carve mine out like this. So this looks like feathers. So I'm making my marks right on my tracing paper so I can see how I would like to carve it out. I'm going to leave all my background from about here up black, and this will be white. And I'm not sure about that yet. So I know how I'm going to proceed. But look, it's back, it's mirror image, right? So when I start carving, I'm going to flip this over so my tracing paper looks like my linoleum. So if I need to use this as reference, I can easily look at this as reference. This is nice and tight. First thing I'm going to do is identify what I'm going to keep black. The branches are going to be black. I'm not going to carve those. If I'm afraid I'm going to forget, I can always color them in so I don't forget that this does not get carved away. I'm going to carve out the background. Before I carve out that background, though, I'm going to outline around the areas that I want to carve. What you do is you turn the linoleum. Always keep your hand behind the blade. This is an easy cut, so it's going to be very easy to cut. Literally, really easy to cut. Okay? Linoleum is not this easy to cut. So I'm going to carve around the area that I want to carve. And I'm just going to do that area because I'm going to start carving up here so you can see how that works. If I want to carve here and my hand is up here, turn this around so my hand is below where I'm carving. Always keep your hand behind the carving tool. Once you start training yourself to do that, then you won't have to worry and you won't have to hurt yourself. I'm going to change blades to my number 3. And I'm going to begin carving out. I can carve out in big pieces or I can carve out in little pieces. And the way that I would like to do this, I think, is going to be carving out in little pieces. So I'll let you get started while I work on this for a little while. Good luck.